It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Burn. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Obiajilu Ugbo. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm grateful to God.
See you.
Alive. Thank you. Good to see you.
I love the blue. It's popping on you today.
Yes, I was looking for what.
How was your weekend?
My weekend wasn't good. But it's not for public sharing, but I'm okay. I'll be fine.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Let me come to you, Tokwe. How was your weekend? Packed. Many activities.
The weekend was packed, and it was the Limitless Women Conference. It was a very beautiful conference, and I got to spend time with people I care about, so I enjoyed that. After that, I didn't come home. I spent Friday night with my mentor, spent Saturday night with my in-laws, and it was just great conversation. I also was interviewed on Friday, on Saturday evening by Pastor Neya Adesoya. Then yesterday, Ashiri. So it was a really packed weekend, back to back. But I'm grateful to God for giving me a platform to share and do what I love to do.
That's good. I mean, I also went for the Limitless Woman Conference, and I actually enjoyed it. You know, I wish I had stayed. I mean,
I saw you hosted.
So yes, no, I didn't host.
I hosted.
You hosted.
Okay.
She keynote speaker.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
it was amazing.
I enjoyed the event. I just wish I had stayed because I had other things. I was planning some recordings for my book launch. So
okay.
So you have to go to record them on that Saturday. So I had to leave. I wasn't really happy, but I'm glad. I'm thankful to Grace Ofure for inviting me, and other ladies were there. Very, very. Missy Johnson. I've been trying to reach her for a long time, but I didn't get a chance to network with her. But I'm happy that it was a good event. I'm looking forward to other activities towards my book launch, especially. It's coming up soon in June. It's not for everybody, but I'll be inviting people to the event. I'm pretty excited about that.
How was the shoot? The shoot went well?
I had a shoot. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was. And then a shoot also towards that. You know, I'm just trying to gradually do some publicity towards my event coming up. So it's June. And it's just less than 2 months to go. Wow. I did all the inauguration thingy to pass so that I'll have time to now focus on my event. But yeah, so June 17th.
Countdown.
The
sponsorship inquiries, talk to Tokwe Makoto.
Yes.
And help you arrange it.
Yeah, we're talking to a few sponsors and I'm getting some interest. I'll also be celebrating my 10 years on television. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Wow.
Let's go on a quick break. When I come back, we'll come back to the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with The Nation. Nigerian students lament ordeal in crisis-torn Sudan. Man stabs neighbor to death over parking space. Saudi-bound man held with cocaine. 40% pay rise excites federal workers. 3 ways out of debt crisis for Rwanda. Nnamani asks Obi to discontinue petition. Expectations from Tinubu by Niger Delta leaders. Police begin probe of suspended Adamawa wreck. Okay, which story are we starting with?
So I took the story of a 3-story building under construction on Sunday, collapsed at the Apapa area of Lagos State. The building, located at 45 Ladipo Oluwo Street, GRA Apapa, was partially caved in as a result of the thunderstorm. According to the Nation, it said that there was really heavy rainstorm that happened across Lagos State yesterday. The rain caught us on the road as well. And you know that in the recording of the story, they said there was no casualty as a result of the incident. However, the state government has sealed the property over alleged non-compliance to the provisional approval granted it. So the Deputy Director of Public Affairs of the Lagos State Building Control Agency, LASBCA, Mukaila Sanusi, in the statement on Sunday evening, said the developers broke the government seal that mandated them to stop working on the property. They said the property was sealed because the provisional approval was given for 2 floors, but the developer constructed 3 floors. He went ahead to say that preliminary inquiries indicated that they had issued a number of contravention notices to stop work and seal up orders. And the developer ignored all of this, went ahead to carry on with the construction without any recourse whatsoever to the authorities. So thankfully, there's no casualty in that place, but I think that they should go further to pick up this developer whom they have told not to continue building in that place. Somebody must pay the penance for this so that it will deter others.
Let me take the civil servants who got a 40% increase. So the Consolidated Public Salary Structure, CONPSS, yesterday expressed joy over the payment of the 40% that was paid allowance and arrears from the federal government. The workers who are mostly those on the grades 1 to 7 in the MDAs and agencies commended the president for approving this increase. The Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, who yesterday spoke, said that the categories of workers, especially in ministries, will start receiving theirs before the end of this week. Some already have. A woman, Agnes Iguben, said that she was surprised to see an increase when she received her April salary and hope that it continues. Some people, according to her, some people said it's because of the fuel subsidy that's going to be removed in June. Others said it was part of the promise the government had made prior, back in October, that they will increase 40% salaries. I mean, that's huge, and I'm happy that some have started collecting their salaries and received this increase.
I wonder how we can sustain it, though, because the second story I'm taking now is about our economic crisis. So a member of the Presidential Economic Advisory Committee, PIC, Bismarck Rewani, has given a few options, 3 main options on how we can deal with our crisis. He said that Nigeria's current debt stands at $103.1 billion as of December 31st, 2022, and he puts us at the tip of a debt crisis. So he gave 3 options on how we can deal with the current crisis. He said the first thing is to approach the IMF, that's the International Monetary Fund, for a policy support instrument. And what the policy support instrument means that they would give us support in how to improve our production. They would help change our policies for subsidy, naira, dollar, the exchange rates, and other advisory position. They also said the second option is debt conversion, which I remember that the vice president mentioned when he was in the US last year, that we should get debt conversion option and debt restructuring. This is the total money owed by both states and federal government, and from the look of things, it is getting to a point that it will probably cripple the government if we do not act decisively in implementing some change in policy to improve the way. He said a sovereign debt structure can take several forms, and they're hoping that the government is able to negotiate to get such fund restructuring ongoing, because we're spending most of our income on paying for debts. Okay,
The Punch. Sudan conflict, government seeks Egypt's support to rescue 5,500 Nigerians via road. 2 children, 5 others burned to death in Lagos-Ibadan highway crash. Lagos State government blames developers as another 3-story building collapses. Tinubu may return today to meet the APC National Working Committee. Nigeria's indebtedness to World Bank, now 6 trillion naira. NLNG Train 7, Rep. Someone Dewu Saipem over workers' petition. And police launch manhunt for fleeing Adamawa wreck. Okay, which story are we starting with? The Punch?
I'll start with the major headline. So the federal government is making preparations to evacuate about 5,500 stranded Nigerians out of Sudan through the Egyptian town of Luxor. According to the Punch, said that the federal government was seeking Egypt's support so that the stranded Nigerians could be moved to Luxor. Now, the Director of Special Duties of the National Emergency Management Agency, who doubles as chairman of NEMA's Committee for the Evacuation of the Stranded Nigerians from Sudan, Dr. Onimode Bandele, said that the federal government was meeting with government officials in Egypt on how to move Nigerians out of Sudan through Egypt. They're also exploring through Addis Ababa as well. And he says that the government has concluded the arrangements to evacuate 5,500 Nigerians in Sudan by road. And according to him, for security reasons, they will be getting authorization from the Sudanese government before the evacuation. Now, he went ahead to say that it's not like 2 countries are fighting each other. What is happening in Sudan right now is internal crisis, and it's very difficult for you to just go into that country to lift your people out. You must negotiate with the Sudanese government to give you that opportunity. Said some other countries have tried to pick up their people, I think France and one other country, but then they were met with stiff resistance, and so they had to go back. It's not something you just rush. And some of the countries who succeeded in lifting their people out of, Sudan had just about 50 individuals. But now in Nigeria, we're looking at about 5,000. It's not something you just go in and just get out. You need proper plans. You need to get the buses ready, everything that they need, get the neighboring countries, ready to support you before you are able to lift them out. So hopefully Egypt will do something in relation to this so that we can get these students out of the country.
Let me take the story for the NLNG Train 7. So reps, according to the House of Representatives Committee on Public Petitions, has summoned the managing director, the project manager, actually, Daewoo Engineering and Construction Limited, and the project manager for Saipem Contracting Nigeria over alleged unfair labor practices against Nigerian workers engaged in the construction of the NLNG Train 7 project in Bonny State, Rivers State. The Punch reported that there has been a prolonged industrial dispute between the Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas Train EP7 firm, Daewoo Engineering Construction, and its employees under the aegis of the National Association of Plant Operators. The association was demanding fair labor practices in line with international best practice from the South Korean firm. And then the National Assembly, the House of Representatives, have actually summoned them, accusing Daewoo of using security agencies to intimidate its members instead of paying them the entitlements. So I'm happy that at least there's some efforts being done to ensure that these employees are compensated for the ill done.
Update on the Adamawa wreck story. The Commissioner for Information and Voters Education of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Festus Okoye, has said that the powers to declare its resident electoral officer, it lacks the power to declare the wreck officer wanted. The rec officer is Adu Ari. He said that the rec got into trouble. We all remember when he announced the Adamawa state election while the supplementary election result, while the election is still counting in some areas, and he has now fled. He's not taking he's not picking his phone calls, and they don't know his whereabouts. So Festus Okoye is saying that he doesn't have the right, the INEC doesn't have the right to declare him wanted, and that they added that the police, they are hoping the police would arrest the wreck and then they can able to continue the prosecution. He said the commission has written officially to the Inspector General of Police detailing all the infraction that the wreck has committed against INEC, and that they are hoping that through the police intervention they'll be able to find where the man is. But he also mentioned that they've not, the police has responded to their letter and they are waiting to get information. But a lot of Nigerians are waiting to see how discipline will be meted out against the Adamawa State's wreck. But the INEC is saying they don't have the right to declare him wanted. They have not seen him. He's not picking their calls. The police is left to handle it.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Moving now to Daily Sun. Salah tragedy in Lagos and Kano. Work for Kano's release, IPOP tells new Ohaneze boss on Wanyahu. 2.9 million lightning strikes to hit Nigeria in May, says NEMA. 168 escaped death at Ibadan police barracks collapse. Direct entry registration to continue after 2023 UTME national census, says JAM. APC dissolves Tinubu Shetima Campaign Council. Namani urges Obi to withdraw case against Tinubu. Oti denies inviting Gowon. Appoints 75-man inauguration committee. Vasta APC chieftain to Buhari asks God for forgiveness, not Nigerians. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The major headlines, a very sad story. We said about 7 people were burned to death, while 14 others sustained varying degrees of injury in an accident, which occurred around Upik on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway yesterday. There was also another account of an accident that happened in Kano. So the Public Education Officer, Federal Road Safety Corps in Ogun, Mrs. Florence Okwe, confirmed the incident to newsmen in Abeokuta, and he said the incident happened around 10:45 a.m. yesterday. He said the accident was caused by excessive speeding and brake failure, which led to a loss of control, and the vehicle hit the road divider, somersaulted, and went up in flames. We said about 22 people were involved in the accident, which comprised 7 men, 8 women, 4 male children, and 3 female children. 14 people were injured, 4 men, 5 women, 2 male children, and 3 female children. And, 7 people were burnt to death immediately. So some of them have been taken to the morgue and to the different teaching hospitals around the area. And they're advising that we must be very careful when we go on those roads. We must make sure that we check our vehicles regularly to be sure that they are not malfunctioning.
Okay, so NEMA, that's the National Emergency Management Agency, have said, and I quote, if you hear thunder, go indoors for safety, because they are saying they're expecting 2.9 million lightning strikes during the month of May. According to them, the red states are at high risk of severe lightning strikes and flooding. Prepare for the possible fatalities and fire outbreaks. According to NEMA, South-South, Southeast, North Central, and Northeast states would experience more intense lightning strikes. The spokesman from the Southwest Zone, Mr. Ibrahim Falinloye, confirmed that Nigeria would experience intense lightning, and once people hear thunder striking outside, they must go indoors for safety, especially in the month of May. So you've been warned.
We have to be careful.
So 162 people escaped death at the police barracks where a building in Ibadan, where a building collapsed. Partially collapsed, actually. Within the police barracks, it's a 27 self-contained apartments that collapsed. Thankfully, there were no casualties, just loss of properties worth millions of naira, cars, motorcycle, generators, personal items. And they mentioned that one of the neighbors that lives within the area said people within that particular block 11, had been told to evacuate the building based on the failure of integrity test. The zonal coordinator Southwest, Sahid Akinyode, mentioned that all the buildings within the barrack, this building that collapsed is over 100 years old, that all the buildings within the barrack that are that old should actually they should be recorded, and they should also do integrity tests on them to avoid any other of such happening. So we're happy that nobody's life was lost. This happened 3 p.m. on Saturday in Ibadan. And we're hoping that those that lost items will be compensated.
Okay, let's move on now to Vanguard. Global competitiveness, over 30 taxes choke industries in Nigeria. Sudan war, Nigerians' only way out is evacuation by road, says federal government. Zamfara state emir dethroned for turbaning bandits leader. 7 burned to death, 14 injured in Lagos Ibadan Expressway auto crash. Nationwide blackout looms as generation falls below 4,000 megawatts. APC dissolves Presidential Campaign Council. 10th National Assembly, Vitara Wase Jaji in Speaker horse race for in 3 horse race for Speaker. And how to tackle insecurity in Nigeria, says Italian envoy. 52 billion naira SWP fund. Articles aid Keyamo Bika over asset declaration. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, which is the umbrella body of manufacturers in the country, MAN, are lamenting that the nation's manufacturing sector is groaning under a multiplicity of taxes and levies, saying that over 30% of such different taxes, levies, and fees are being charged by various government agencies. So according to MAN, said this development has led to small and medium enterprises, that's the SMEs, losing about 9% of their total income yearly, which runs into billions of naira to such multiple charges. Now, also compounding the already difficult situation, they said about 17 new bills aimed at imposing more levies on the manufacturing sector is currently before the National Assembly as we speak. And so they are saying these levies and these taxes are not working for the private business person in Nigeria right now. They went ahead to mention some of the taxes: company income tax, stamp duties, petroleum profit tax, capital gains tax, value-added tax, personal income tax, withholding tax, tertiary education tax, 1% of payroll contribution to NSITF, and so many others that they listed here. and said this is not working for the manufacturing sector. They are not able to do well because of all these taxes that leave their businesses. The government is not giving them a conducive environment so that their businesses can thrive. Most of the businesses are already shutting down, and yet the government is still planning to go ahead with some of these taxes. I think government needs to look into these taxes. If there's a way they can, yes, it's a whole lot for businesses. If there's a way they can, just make it, bring a lot together. Let's just have not more than a few number of taxes. You know what you're paying for. Just pull them together and then explain to the people why you need these taxes. So the idea is government needs funds, right? We know that our fuel and petrol issues we're not getting so much from there. So government is trying as much as possible to squeeze these people, but you're over squeezing them and you're killing their businesses.
Okay, let me take I
want to take the Italian envoy story. So we had the ambassador to Nigeria from Italy. His name is Mr. Stefano Di Leo. He said that he was speaking to the insecurity challenges that we're facing in Nigeria, speaking to NANS, that's the news agency of Nigeria, and his comment was that, according to him, the best way to deal with insecurity in Nigeria isn't just to fight with military. That military would not solve the problem completely, that they must tackle the issues that are causing the insecurity, and he identified those issues to be proper education. He said, once we are able to properly educate our youths and women, he said, and we put in policies and politics that affect other areas of their lives, we are then dealing, that it might seem like a slow way to get out of insecurity, but it is the surest way to resolve our insecurity challenges. And he said that that's the Italian way, and they are supporting through EU. They are not supporting, they are partnering with the EU to support the fight against insecurity and insurgencies, but they're not doing any fighting, but they are providing education, and it is low but better strategy towards dealing with insecurity in Nigeria.
Governor Bello Matawale of Zamfara State has approved the reinstatement of Emir Yandoto Aliyu Maraka of the throne of Emir of Benin Yandoto. If you recall, Marafa was derobed after conferring the traditional title of Sarki Fulani back in July 2022 on a bandit leader, Ado Aliero, if we took that story, as part of a peace-building effort by his emirate. However, the government had set up a committee to investigate what happened, and His Excellency has approved the reinstatement of Aliyu Marafa as the emir based on the recommendations of the committee that was constituted. Said that they did not find, according to the committee, they found no evidence of any ill motive or collaboration between the emir and the bandit. Based on the findings of the committee, the traditional title was conferred on the repentant bandit as part of peace-building efforts between the repentant bandits and the banditry that affected the communities in that. So there was no ill motive, and they have since reinstated him. Okay, moving on now to the Nigerian Tribune. Speaker slot Tinubu's romance with PDP and NNPP leaders threaten opposition gang up. Bandits release 4 Kebbi school girls after 22 months in captivity. 7 burned to death, 14 injured in Lagos about an expressway accident. Lagos government blames developer as another 3-story building collapses in Apapa. Adamawa supplementary election. FCID commences full investigation. Tinubu to arrive Nigeria today. Nurses, midwives lament exclusion from 40% pay rise for federal government workers. Okay.
Yeah, you took that story about the 40% increment.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, a federal health institution sector, are decrying the exclusion of its members in the recent 40% pay rise for federal workers. According to them, they said they've been drawn to the commencement of the 40% peculiar allowance. You mentioned that they had started paying some people already, and they just found that their members were excluded from it. And according to them, they said this exclusion is an aberration, an attempt to cause problems in the system. Said nurses and health workers have been calling for secretary or salary adjustments since 2001, with several committees set up to that effect, and yet they've not seen the light of day with their reports. They also went ahead to say that Chris Ngige, that's the Minister of Labour and Employment, has said that this pay rise was to justify the current economic reality of the country, that, it's to help workers cushion the effects of inflation, rising cost of living, hike in transportation, fare, housing, and electricity. And they just want to wonder, or they're just wondering, how the nurses and midwives are not able to access this when they go to market, when everybody goes to the market, the same inflation is affecting all the government workers. And so something needs to be done about this exclusion.
So one of the aides to Atiku is attacking Festus Keyamo. And the comment is that Festus Keyamo said he acquired property in America, according to them, worth $300,000, and they're asking that he should explain how he got the money. Most especially, they want a detailed report, the probe of the 52 billion special work program implemented by Festus Keyamo. They said he sacked the person who was supposed to be in charge, which is the National Directorate of Employment, Nasiru Agugu, and he said that he should be the one to facilitate the deployment of the 52 billion Naira projects, and they want the National Assembly to ask that even the National Assembly acknowledge that it was a flop, it was a sham, and they want a detailed report. They want the EFCC to investigate it. Of course, the minister has explained that his asset declaration form is open. They can check what he had before he became a minister, but it's a back and forth accusation of how he got the money or how he even spent the 52 billion Naira for the Special Works project.
That is all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So many already know about the situation in Sudan, still very well, that broke out on Saturday, and the struggle for power between the military and civilian protesters demanding civil rule. According to reports, about 5,000 Nigerian students might be stranded in the country. However, the chairman, CEO, Nigerians in diaspora, Honorable Abike Dabiri-Arewa, said that the tense situation makes it gravely risky and impossible for any flight to evacuate the stranded Nigerians in Sudan right now. We read in the reports earlier that even some planes were burned down at the airports, and many countries have tried to rescue theirs, but they had issues and they were resisted by some of the civilians. So it's been difficult to get our own students out. We also read in the papers that there are actually 5,500 students who are stranded in Sudan. But however, on the show right now, we'll be speaking with our guest from NEMA. He's the Dr. Onimode Abdullahi Bandele, Director Special Duties, National Emergency Management Agency. He's NEMA's committee chairman for the evacuation of the stranded Nigerians in Sudan. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Yes, we've been hearing from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that the works are ongoing to get our students out of Sudan, and they had told us yesterday that in a day or two we should be having this student back. Could you give us an idea what the rescue mission plan is? How do you plan to begin the evacuation of our students?
Thank you very much for your preview.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir. We can hear you.
Thank you for your preview, like you said. At the onset of the crisis, it's been difficult for any country to move their nationals. But the good thing is, as at this morning, with the communication I had with my DG, Mustafa Habib Ahmed, who's already in Egypt, and His Excellency Ambassador Laniya, who is in Khartoum. Plans are already underway to get these students numbering about 3,500 to safe haven in Egypt.
Okay, sir. I wanted to ask, according to the reports, we're told that this crisis started last year, December. And some countries have, so just maybe help me explain better. Some countries have, started evacuating their citizens from Sudan. Do you think the negotiations you're having now started a bit late? Or what do you think was responsible for Nigerians trying to evacuate their own people now?
What we're responding to now is what happened in the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
When the two warring factions escalated. As at that time, nobody could get into that country to move anybody out. You are aware there's a window for ceasefire, which we're exploring, and that has given opportunity for us now to want to move these people out. In situations like this, it's always safer to be sure the avenue is available for you to move your citizens and to just rush in and start having casualties. So that's why the Nigerian government were meticulous enough to follow the situation and ensure that it's safe for us to evacuate our citizens.
Okay, sir. I want to find out if you and your team are in conversation with this 5,500 Nigerians to be assuring them that they are safe. What was the last information you got from them in your last conversation?
Let me quickly correct that there's no direct communication between those of us at home here with them, but it's the responsibility of our embassy, especially the ambassador, to communicate government decision to these people. And as I speak to you, from what we discussed with the ambassador, he's in touch with not just the student, but the Nigerian population in Sudan concerning this plan to have a safe return by road through Egypt.
So when you say by road, how do you mean? So where are the starting point from? How many buses are we getting? Are we having supplies for them to eat while they get? And how many hours also from where they are in Sudan all the way to Egypt? What's the entire modus operandi towards them getting to Egypt?
Okay, our starting point is going to be Khartoum. The arrangement is to have luxurious buses to convey these students and other nationals in a safe and dignified manner, in the sense that we're not just going to load them like goods, but they will be having buses that are comfortable to get them across. And for services while the journey is on, those are part of the plans, and I'm sure once the movement starts, all those conveniences will be provided to ensure that everybody is happy before they get to Egypt.
Let me be sure I'm clear. So are you sending buses from Egypt to pick up, or you are getting buses from Sudan to bring them in?
The arrangement from the ambassador's end is to get buses from Sudan to bring them in.
Oh, okay. So I would like you to confirm to us the number of students who Nigerian government is actually planning to evacuate, because the National Association of Nigerian Students in Sudan president mentioned that they have about 10,000 students currently schooling in Sudan. However, some of them have been on holiday. So can you give us the exact number that Nigerian government is going to be evacuating?
The figure we are working with is the figure supplied to us by the Nigerian embassy in Khartoum, and it states that the preparation is for 3,500 nationals to be evacuated from Sudan.
So when they get, so go ahead.
So I wanted to find out, because some people probably can get access to this, if there is a Nigerian in Sudan who probably hasn't been captured in this, what's the process for getting the details of Nigerians? How can they reach out to the embassy to let the embassy know that they are here and they would love to be evacuated out?
Like I said, the first point of contact with the Nigerian government is our embassy. And once this evacuation commences, you can be very sure that other nationals, once they get the information, they will get across to the embassy so that they can be considered too in the evacuation process.
Okay, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue our conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have our guest from NEMA here. Sir, when Nigerians finally get to Egypt, what's the plan to bring them home? Do you have plans for airlines, working with airlines, or are they going to have to fend for themselves?
No, the government is going to take charge of their airlift from Egypt to Nigeria, while a team will be on ground to receive them and ensure that they move to their various homes safely.
Okay, sir. I hear that the government has shut down internet all over Sudan. I want to understand how the Nigerian embassy would, get information across to Nigerians for this evacuation.
That I need to reconfirm from the embassy, because some of these are social media talks, and in the last 1 hour, I still spoke with the ambassador via WhatsApp, which means internet is still working in Sudan.
Okay. All right, that's good to know. All right, so we just want to, so when is evacuation starting? Is it today or tomorrow? Because I know that the Minister of Foreign Affairs was saying in a day or two. So when exactly is the date starting?
With the information at my disposal, the date is 25th of April 2023.
Okay, so Nigerians who live in Sudan right now should know that evacuation starts tomorrow, and they should reach out to the Nigerian embassy in Sudan to ensure that they are enlisted for evacuation starting tomorrow. And the information is that they arrive in Egypt, yes. And when they arrive in Egypt, they'll be lifted to Nigeria subsequently. Okay, thank you very much, sir, for sharing this with us this morning. It was important for us to hear from you because Nigerians have been concerned about the fact that many people seem to be stranded in Sudan without any federal government support. But it's good to know that federal government is actually working towards the evacuation. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us this morning. Let me come back to you guys. This happens a lot of times, when matters like this escalate and then Nigerians are clamoring. I mean, do you always think that we are almost slow to respond, or do you feel that we're always trying to give situations the benefit of the doubt? He said this hold has happened in the last 3 weeks, and nobody thought the situation would escalate to this point. We've heard that some countries evacuated earlier, others were not willing to take chances. We had crises in Nigeria too. I remember when various embassies were telling they were actually just warning their people, but they didn't really do any major evacuation. They were just warning their people not to go to certain areas. So at what point do you think that government should begin evacuation or just continue to warn their citizens across the country when there are issues, conflict issues within countries? Okay, so
of course, we would expect that the government there's always going to be, once there's a crisis in the country, Nigeria is permanently, we're feeling like everything is good. But when you read the advisory, the warnings that the UK, US have against Nigeria, only someone who has a major, there's huge opportunity would come into Nigeria, because there are risks attached to being here right now, and that's the truth. Same with Sudan. So I feel that the Nigerian government they're not being reactive, because the crisis actually escalated just very recently. Yeah. The crisis, like everywhere, we know crisis can happen in pockets of places, and it could have been controlled, similar to what happened in Nigeria, where crisis happened and it was controlled. But because we see France being able to swoop in, get their citizens out, we can't compare ourselves with France. We can't compare ourselves with first world countries. Nigeria is in the category of third world countries. We are in the category of one of the poorest countries in the world. So let's not even start comparing ourselves with developed countries.
Jesus' name.
That's Nigeria's statistics. It's not personalized. It's not for me and you. But that's the statistics of Nigeria. So we cannot be comparing ourselves with people that have military might that they were warding off.
But BC took it earlier that some countries have about 50 citizens.
Yeah.
You know, they
Yeah.
didn't jackpot. They didn't they would not jackpot to
Wasn't
Sudan.
mass.
They only have people put there or maybe business on or government issues.
So we cannot compare ourselves with the developed countries. We cannot compare our military might to developed countries. We don't have enough. We don't have a national carrier that would go and say, oh, that we're taking national carriers to go and carry people from there. So there are many things where Nigeria as a country cannot be competitive. And so let's not compare ourselves. Based on where we are as a country, our response is good.
Yeah.
That's my conclusion.
You tried in your conclusion. And I want to agree with you, but I don't want to agree with you. For the benefit of this show, I will not agree with you.
Thank you.
So I think we're a bit slow in response. So the evacuation we want to do now, if we had done it earlier, is it not the same thing? We still are going to evacuate the people now. But now we're doing it in a very toughened situation where it's now becoming even more difficult to do compared to if we had done it earlier. We're not borrowing money to do this evacuation, or are we? At least it hasn't been said yet. So if we have the means and the capacity to do it now, we could have still done it earlier.
Can I jump in there?
Please jump in.
The Nigerians that I know, unless they're different Nigerian, Nigerians will not leave. They'll say, what is it? Like, we're still okay, nothing is going on. They're wasting money. They want to use the money to chop money. They're telling they are collecting approval from government that they want to fly to. They just want the opportunity to chop the money. There's nothing going on. We're okay. Nigerians I know will not leave anywhere.
Okay,
until the time now, when the time hits their doorstep.
So the thing is,
Nigerians will not leave.
Yes, but the thing is, it will be on record that at so and so time, when this crisis started, the Nigerian embassy kept telling their citizens, it's time for evacuation, it's time for evacuation. Then we will know the people to blame. The people who refuse to leave the country, will blame them. That's on one hand. Secondly, I think that, I don't know how the crisis has escalated, but I think that it's also the responsibility of the Nigerian citizens to study their environment and know how intense this is, and keep reporting to the embassy. Keep writing to the embassy, this is happening. Any plans for us? Other countries are leaving. We cannot just sit down and wait for governments to be the one to, go around. We have a response. We are schooling in another man's country.
And it have been in batches, like you said.
Yes, in batches. We just start taking them gradually. We know that we are many. 10,000 people in Sudan. Because waiting that they study for there. I'm at a loss. Sudan, I am confused. Yeah, I am. And so I don't know how.
When your system is not good, people will go everywhere to go and find greener pastures. No matter how brown the grass is there, it looks greener than when
it's not about from. So what I see is not about the country not being good. We have a place like India. I don't know how good their country is, right? They have people who stay there and they have people who choose to leave. But the fact is, the number of people who choose to leave would be leaving because there's something about the system we have here that puts emphasis on international recognition. We need to start changing it. Because if you can go to a place like just the neighboring countries around because you want that international recognition, when you bring it here, the fact that it's not from Nigeria would put you at a certain level is what needs to change so that we can have most of our students here. I wanted to study their educational system and how better it is compared to what we have in Nigeria. It is not better.
You checked it because I was checking. Comments said that even after our Sanusi Lamido finished in ABU, he also went to Sudan. So some countries might have good education, or maybe they have affordable affiliation or some courses that they are very good at. But somebody was saying I should not compare Nigeria to a war-torn country. You need to listen to, and I don't know if you're Nigerian or abroad, when you read the reports on Nigeria, when they detail the level of crisis that happen in different places, it is actually worrisome. But because we don't see it, or where we are is relatively peaceful. We also saw what happened in 2020 under the NSAS protests. And when the crisis started, we all felt protest is normal until the things became really bad, and they were burning down buildings, they were looting, and they were burning, they were burning high courts, burning police station. It could have become Sudan.
Yeah. And that is why I say the government needs to move more quickly. So at least you can start giving out advisories. The difference between you staying in your home country is if anything happens, I can run either to my mother's house or my father's house. You understand? But the citizens who are not in their country needs to be better taken care of. So you as an embassy who understands some of these things, before it escalates to that level, you start giving out advice. You start writing to the schools. We want to have a meeting with our Nigerian students. We want to tell them this. We want to give them this. So that those people who can afford to come back by themselves, their parents would have started buying tickets for them to come home. No parent will have money to buy tickets for their child to come home and be waiting for the government to evacuate them. So you help yourself so that we can help you as Nigerian people. You don't wait to the dying moment and then, oh yeah, we cannot have conversations, or this is a very... And in war zones like this, it's even very difficult to have embassy reasonable discussions because the two warring factions are not listening. There's this there's a friction. They won't listen to any outsider that's coming. In their mind, what are you doing in our country? If you become casualty, you become casualty. It's your business.
So businessmen, people, adults who are there are likely to have evacuated. But the students are usually the ones that are on the latter end of this. Because if you're working in Sudan for every business and you're hearing, you're likely to have bought your ticket and gone.
So a family friend's senior brother, someone that is really close to us, the senior brother, was in Libya during the crisis. And when we happened, she was like, you mean Augusti did Libya? I say, yes, so that their own area is peaceful. You know, sometimes there might be crisis going on in a country, and where you are is peaceful until it now reaches your area. Some people were in Ukraine until the crisis reached, they'll feel like, no, it won't get here. They are always fighting. Is it not they've always been fighting in this place? Like we have been reading Zanko Kataf. They've been fighting, they're always kidnapping. So you might feel like, my own local government is far from there. We don't fight in our area until the day it now comes to where
That's why your government should protect you. So whatever you are feeling, your government should give that advisory. Until with your feeling, it's coming,
We have to run, but in total, Sudan has about 15 public universities and 9 private universities.
Wow.
Far cry from what
we have
there. So we have 10,000 of our students gone there to do what? Anyway, it's a conversation. We just hope that they get home safely. That's the most important thing, and hopefully the federal government is able to care for them and ensure that their families reunite with these students. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, move on to another topic. Stay with us. We'll be right
back. Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So there's a trending topic on social media, especially on Twitter. Nigerian tweeters, or tweeps they call them now, knocked the RCCG pastor Adeboye's son, Leke Adeboye, over the statement he said, where he said, I have made my first million selling wristbands. Many Nigerians came for him saying that he only took advantage of the church. He went to sell wristbands in RCCG. Many of us have it. I have a few in my house too, And then it was almost like something every Redeemer must have, But he said he made his first million selling wristbands, and many tweeters, tweeps, went for him saying that, I believe it's those wristbands that he sold, and that's how he made it. That he ripped off people, like just took advantage of his father's church, and then it brings back the hypocrisy of many Nigerians. Sometimes we take these issues because we need to highlight some areas where Nigerians forget that they pick and choose where they see they feel that somebody is taking advantage, or somebody is taking advantage of the church in some way. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with the tweeters, or do you feel that he made an honest business of an opportunity he had? What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 09139076948. You can also call us on 08127053687. Tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. Bisi, let me start with you.
Nigerians, make we calm down. Let's calm down. It's not that difficult. We always, preach that people should do honest work, not steal, not cheat, not lie. But if you find your hands doing something honest, are we now upset that you make money from it? We have Nigerians who travel. Some people just went to Mecca now. I'm sure they will buy complimentaries. Yeah, they are called complimentaries. I had a family member that went to Israel. When he got back, he kept narrating, that place has become a tourist attraction. Oh. These people are making billions yearly. Everybody was buying. They bought sand. They bought olive oil. They bought the sea water. There was nothing they did not bring home. Back, so everything, this is where Jesus died. Commercialized. And it's business. They are not ripping you off. They will always say, do you want to have this? Do you want to have that? This would actually work. It's marketing. You are either convinced or not. So why are we upset now that somebody is selling wristband and making money out of it when you will go and buy some other things because it's from another person's country and it's not a rip-off for you? So we should stop picking and choosing and castigating people for doing honest work. If you walk into a place and then they put hand in your pocket and collect your money and you must have it before you attain certain. We understand, but I'm selling this, so you love to. We buy Bible, don't we? And some people will say, because it's for God, there shouldn't be a price tag to it. Because did they steal it? It was manufactured. Money was spent to manufacture it. Money will be made to sell it. Right. So why are we upset?
Go ahead, let me talk about.
So there was a time in the Bible where Jesus was upset. It was one of the places where Jesus got angry. And he drove all the traders and money lenders and all of them out of the temple because we are now losing focus on what the temple was meant for. I think that really those are spiritual people should be discerning enough to know what is a distraction. And it shouldn't be a whole pastor's son, Daddy Gio's son, that would be one of those that will be seen profiting from the weaknesses of human beings. It should be, the focus should be drawing attention to who is the most important. When Jesus came, which we are supposed to be Christians, Christ-like, he took attention from all these sacrifices, all these things that you are doing. You are changing money, you are buying dove, you are buying that. Focus on the God that you are there to serve. Seek the knowledge. Read the scriptures. Sit and hear. Don't be... He told... it was a story of the two sisters. I'm trying to remember their name. And one person sat down to learn. Another person was... Mary Amata. And somebody was running around. I said, see, this person sitting down to hear is more important. So I would expect that from that lineage of spirituality, the idea should not be selling artifacts. If you go to Israel, the Israelites are not forming Christianity. People of Israeli are not saying that they're never calling themselves, they're saying Israeli. They don't call themselves that they are forming Christianity or anything. They are telling you they know your weakness. They know you want artifacts. They know you want to feel an emotional attachment to the fact that you visited the Holy Land, quote and unquote. And so they will sell you things. But it shouldn't happen within the church. By someone in the church. We have this wristband, people have rosaries, some people sell holy water, people make billions from holy water. That's water that somebody prayed on. The same mouth you can use to pray. You will not use to buy olive oil. I won't call the brand. There was that, I grew up in a white garment church. We all know one yellow bottle like this, of which is the original olive oil. Because real olive oil is in a green bottle. Yeah. But we all bought that yellow bottle and we're anointing our head every day, every night. Yes, they are faith extenders and it's valid. At a point in my parents' white garment church, they had to say people should bring their own water. There's nothing called holy water. The holiness comes from your faith attached to the fact that you believe that God is going to do a miracle with that faith extender.
Okay, Tope, we all somewhat benefit from where we are. Yeah. Because everybody works in various companies. People sell plantain chips in this company. Their job is not plantain chips. But they see there's a number here. Now sell plantain chips here. You work. You're in the church. You're in church. The opportunities you sell, I'm sure you've sold to one real estate, one or two in church.
People want to meet the needs per time.
So there are always needs. So if I see a wristband and I put my name on the wristband, and somebody in my church sees it, yeah, I like that wristband. Oh, please, can you make me one?
Is
And
it now a crime?
Before you know it, somebody else has, yeah, that's the wristband that you are holding. Can I have it? And suddenly, because you're pastor's son now, you cannot duplicate that wristband and say, okay, this department said they want it, let me give to them. If
it now becomes a crime.
So yeah,
so
we could have started, not the idea was let me sell to the church. You could have started from, maybe I started from my house fellowship. They wanted it. From house fellowship, somebody now said they wanted it in the department. From department, oh, church pastor now saw it. Like, do more for us now. Then gradually
do more for the choir.
Church. So why would you therefore blame somebody for taking advantage of something he had personally and then decided to sell to a larger group?
So I don't even think it's about taking advantage. First of all, in that church, they preach Christ, don't they? Don't they preach Christ? They do. Have they told you to come and do any form of sacrifice? No. But we know that human beings always want to be affiliated to something. They want to distinguish themselves. So I'm a redeemer, for instance. I should have something that shows I'm a redeemer. I did a gold necklace that had my name on it, BC. You know, I just wear it for you to know that it is me. People who do necklaces that, you know, show their business or whatever. It's just a way that human beings affiliate with certain things. Yeah. And it is not a crime in any way. If this is now what they tell you to do for you to have access to God, or for your miracles to be given to you, or for you to have... to manifest your prayers and all of that, then it becomes a problem. But if it's just a keepsake, I travel all around the world. And when I go to a place like, if you come to my refrigerator now, you see the countries that I have been to. It's a keepsake. It's something that shows that, I've been to Singapore. Oh, I've been to Maldives. It's what we do as human beings. And I don't see any problem in that. He was giving an example that, okay, for instance, you're thinking about what to do, you know, look around your corner. Where do you want him to start the business from? From the mosque?
So
he was born in church.
So that it don't seem like I'm not attacking Pastor Leke Adeboye, because I understand that we must be resourceful, and I appreciate resourcefulness. My opinion is that because we understand, Paul said he didn't eat meat. You know, because there's some things that you know can be lawful, but it is not to be done by you. Because if my pastor, people usually ask one of my pastor to raise CDs. He does that, but there's a big pastor that does not raise CDs, because he knows that unless I have listened to this CD and I feel truly blessed, or I've read this book, it will even do it, because if I do it for one, I have to do it for all. And people, because of their emotional attachment to who I am and what I represent, if I just say this is the phone you should start buying, everybody will go and flood and buy the phone. So I will not do it because I might be making somebody use their last kobo to buy just because Daddy has said it, Gio has said it or something. So there are some things that will be sacrificial just because of the position you stay in. It's like the way we say, because you become a politician, you must make sacrifices. When you become, there are things that when you occupy a position, you will make some unusual sacrifice. You will see opportunity, but you know it can become like profiteering. You will not do it. Not that what he did is bad. But another thing, there are people and their churches that will sell you handkerchief as a source of miracle.
Yes, now mantle. Elijah used it.
They sell it as a source of healing.
Yes, mantle.
And people will now buy it and take it abroad and say,
mantle.
So I am
according to your faith. If it works for you, it works for you.
But they are selling miracle.
They did not buy the handkerchief. No, wait. Now they went to the market and they collected it free of charge. They will not sell what they bought.
This is where I stand. I will tell you, bring your handkerchief, buy your handkerchief, bring it to church, raise it up.
What if you forgot your handkerchief at home? Somebody must sell handkerchief for you now. Do you know how many times you go to church and you forget your anointing oil in the house? Somebody must sell
for you. See the face mask issue.
Yes.
You are going to supermarket, you forget your face mask. There are people standing on the road.
I'm telling you.
To help your case.
Exactly.
Yes, there are people can do it, but if it is now the pastor's son or the pastor's wife, that's now opened a shop at the gate
I'm
and is selling mantle, they will not look at you and be like,
about the hypocrisy.
That's why we
hypocrisy.
Yes, so Nigerians are hypocrites.
The religion and the Christendom. Stay with us right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we discussed earlier Daddy Gio's son, Pastor Leke, who was selling wristbands, and many people were accusing him. We've seen a few different sides. But there's another hypocrisy that many have discussed in church, which is actually quite interesting. So I was having a conversation with some people, and they were complaining that a lot of church leaders, female church leaders, other pastors' wives in Nigeria who, before Jackpine, used to be very conservative. They wear their hat, their skirts below their knee, in their mommy geos, never see their hair. Suddenly they get the jackpot, maybe their husband gets moved to America or to Canada, to the UK. Under 1 month or 2 months, these same mommy geos start wearing trousers. They leave their hair on the pulpit. Some color their hair. So I am wondering, mommy geo, what happened? That if I try this thing you're trying in Nigeria, they will cut off my head. I remember also when I went to, they invited me to speak in my church. It was a women's program.
Office.
And I was one of the, I think I had an MC or something to read, and I wore trousers, right? I didn't even think, I forgot that I'm in church, that we don't allow trousers. I wore because it just matched the outfit. So when I got down, the first minister that came to me, "Auntie, we don't wear trousers on the pulpit." I said, I'm so sorry, I forgot. Wow. But these same people still travel abroad. And mommy Jews are ready to wear trousers. That's part of the hypocrisy. I'm not saying that is the folk, but that's part of the hypocrisy we see even within the Christendom.
There's hypocrisy all around. I used to ask people questions like, the people who brought this religion to you, this Christianity to you, how do they dress? Even at the time that they brought it, how were they dressing? So for you, because a lot of people, at that time when you just newly give your life to Christ, everybody's like, you have to stop wearing some things, no more short skirts, it has to be long, no more trousers, it has to be a dress, your hair is meant to be covered, blah, blah. They give you all sort of rules that just keeps you in alignment with what they believe. It's the right way to reach God. Because there is no template that says, the only thing I know in the Old Testament was do not wear a male must not wear what pertains to a female. But we here now define what pertains to a male or a female as trousers, forgetting that they are male and female trousers. They are sewn differently, they look different. But in our understanding at the time we picked up the religion, but they forgot that the people who brought this religion actually wore those things to come and even preach to them in the first place. And so they put all those laws, don't do this, don't do that, and people take it hook, line, and sinker. Now, when these people become exposed and they travel, they are now face to face with the people who brought this religion, and they see how things are done. They change without coming back to apologize to the people they've held their destiny by telling them not to dress a certain way. Because if your hair has been covered for a very long time, and probably you're not washing it, and there's a guy around you that likes you, not
even
like you
single
anymore.
Girls.
Yes.
There's a lot of single girls who, because they want to be pious, they wear their hair, and then they don't let themselves go because they just want to wear a certain kind of dress and certain outfit.
For that for church and for that kind of Jesus that they are. Because I always tell people, if you're coming to me to preach Jesus, you have to look good. You have to give me something that is exciting for me to follow you. You can't look worse than I am looking, and I will follow you. I don't want that kind of suffer. So everybody just picks, I'm telling you now, everybody just picks their side. But the thing is, the hypocrisy when you receive a message. So there was a time I was praying in the room, and my spirit told me, cover your hair, right? And I picked up my scarf and covered my hair. That it only happened once. And the next time I was praying, I didn't hear that, and I went ahead. Now, people take that message, because then I had an opportunity to be preaching in church like regularly. I would have just gone to the church to say, we have received instruction from the Holy Spirit that everybody here must cover their hair. That message wasn't for the crowd. That message was for me at that time. I don't know what happened. I don't know how it happened. And now, when I change tomorrow and go back to coloring my hair, I cannot come back and tell them, I've received another message, let us color our hair. I leave them hanging. And it breeds a lot of resentment because they're looking at this pastor's wife who have traveled and they say, so this woman deceived us, she can do this. So I think whatever message you receive personally, use it for yourself. And allow the people, just tell them, be modest in your dressing. We don't want anybody exposing any part of their body, but be modest in your dressing and leave it like that.
Let me come to, I have Obi. Abi, good morning, Abi, from OPIC. Welcome to you. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. On this issue of him making $1 million in kindergarten, on the issue of making $1 million,
the wristbands.
It's $1 million by selling wristbands.
Yes.
Honestly speaking, I don't see it as an issue. And as long as you do a business legitimately, whether or not you're a pastor or not, It doesn't matter. What matters is you saw an opportunity, made use of it. He could have sold it for 1 naira per one. And fortunately for him, his father is privileged to be the son of let me not use the word, of a pastor who happens to have a big congregation. So that 1 naira, 1 million people. On a Friday, we have more than 1 million people coming for Holy Ghost service. So it's really not an issue. I can even use software business, for example.
Right.
If I hear somebody talking about land, they want to buy land, and I'm like, software sells land. Software doesn't know me. Software sells land, but because I've seen software on TV. You understand? So I expect that, she will do a good business, to do well, to do them right. So whether she makes her million in 2 weeks, it doesn't matter. What matters is it's like this, and he's trying to encourage someone and say, you know what, any small thing you find in your hand,
do it. Thank you very much, AB. Going to the issue of the pastors' wives.
Yeah. So for me, I think that there's a lot of pressure on being a pastor and being a pastor's wife, more in Nigeria than in other parts of the world. I cannot speak for African countries, but I've been in other parts of the world, and I've attended churches, and here. It's like it's shocking to be a pastor's wife. Like they sacrifice their lives and all of that. So when they have opportunity to go to other countries, they're able to relax. Vacations are like, oh, I don't have to sit up like this. Pastor's wife was like this all through church service today.
I saw your pastor wore shorts. Your pastor's wife. I saw her wearing shorts. I was like,
are you serious? Please, I was so happy to see her wear, because really Nigeria just puts so much. The religious body puts so much restriction on, especially pastor's wife. It feels like they are imprisoned.
Yeah.
If you speak too much, the way pastor's wife was laughing on the pulpit today. The way pastor's wife was speaking on.
Not laugh decently.
So why don't we allow the Nigerian pastors' wives to just be?
Nobody hold them.
A lot of marriages are having issues because they are trying to just be like Mommy Gio. But unfortunately, maybe the husband
is struggling.
the husband, the pastor's wife, the pastor's husband, the husband himself, they have seen the light elsewhere. Unfortunately, his wife has not seen the light. And then she's also, a lot of frustration is going on, and people are just being hypocritical about the whole thing.
That's one angle. Another angle is the fact that when you're in Rome, I cannot, no matter how comfortable I am in my body, I will not wear a bikini in Nigeria. Because in Nigeria, we don't wear bikinis.
Who told you that?
Age range.
Who told you?
In my official age range.
I wear bikini. Stop where?
You see, come on.
Yeah, 0.0%.
0.00%. We don't. It's not normal. But even the swimsuit we wear is the one with cyclists that gets to your thigh as per children of God.
Yeah.
When you reach the abroad,
Yeah.
no matter how the shape is.
We don't want to copy that one, no. Please calm down.
I'm saying when you get to Rome, you behave. And
wear bikini.
The pastor's wife will not wear bikini.
I'm not saying pastor's wife. I'm saying that when you get into the setting,
yes.
people, churches that are in Nigeria that they don't allow wearing trousers, go to Winnipeg. When you get to Canada, they relax the rule that allows them to wear, because you cannot wear.
Why? Let me give you
have to wear trousers because of the cold. You must wear 5, 6 under. You cannot wear bubu on top of it.
Let me give you
because of the weather, where the place where you are.
When I was in Nigeria, gym, I used to go to vigil. Vigil was like you wake up, come 5 a.m. in the morning, you're back. When I travel, go America.
You know, go again.
So Pastor Mattel of Varsity Jesus House, New Jersey, he had a vigil, first vigil. I was so excited, vigil. 4 o'clock, we don't finish. I said, well, just say yes.
So what's the part of the vigil?
Like, people are going to work. We got to go to work. And I'm like, so when we're there, they stop, vigil stops at midnight. We start from 10 p.m. We finish by midnight. So in Nigeria, the vigil is just starting now.
Yes.
Midnight, just a start. Let me take this call. Good morning, are you there? Hey, you're live. Go ahead, please.
good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Okay, I want to contribute to the
Yes.
buying and selling things in
Yes.
the church, the
Yes.
handkerchief and all of that. I seriously think it's wrong. And I feel that it has become a monetary thing now. So much that I started things. The house of God in Nigeria, seriously, it's not what they preach to us. Everybody now finds a way to sell something. And that is the buying and selling that Jesus Christ knew. We did not need to. I understand that there was mantle and all of that in the Bible. But there are better ways to go about this thing. I totally agree with you. You can bring your handkerchief. If you have an handkerchief, can we teach faith? Whereby whatever you're having with you. Sometimes you are praying in the church and they say, where is your Bible? I don't have a Bible with you. I'm holding up my hand in faith. Can we just do that and not make an avenue whereby you'll be making money 1 naira, 1 million
But
is so
Oye,
much
the
for somebody.
handkerchiefs sometimes work. They do. When you activate your faith in the handkerchief, it does work. Do you know that, right?
You can use your scarf at that time that you're in the church. I'm saying you don't have to. It takes away it gives people this thing. You divert people's mind.
Right.
People actually have these things that they take home. You take away what you want to actually preach about. The church has fast become that. Serious, let us know that. And that's of pastors.
Thank you very much.
They actually don't force people to do all of these things. It's
don't.
always a choice. And that's why you claim to be a Christian must know God for yourself. So if you receive a direct instruction to buy this mantle today, you know because you have received from the Holy Spirit that I'm going to buy from the pastor today. If you don't receive to buy it, you go there, collect your prayer, and you go home. I've been going to church for the last how many years of my life. I've never bought mantle. I've never bought anointing oil. It's my mother-in-law that supplies me anointing oil. She always buys. When she went to Israel and came back, she gave me, I still have them. I still want original olive. I still have one bottle. You know, she's the one, I don't buy all of this. It doesn't mean my prayers aren't answered. It doesn't mean God doesn't listen to or doesn't hear me. It doesn't mean that my blessings have stopped. It's because I know my God for myself. I understand my scriptures. When I need to hold him by the jugular and say, God, you must answer me today, I know the books to open in the Bible and hold him. Exactly. So you must know God for yourself. But even when you don't know God for yourself, some people need a form of help. And that's why some of these things come into play. I will not judge somebody whose faith is low, who decides to buy all of these things because I can see and I will not buy.
Okay, let me take a few,
look down on them.
Let's take a few
I wanted
comments.
to come back to this pastor.
We'll come back. Let's take a few comments. So you had a few comments.
Yes, so please, there are, as it is,
Why
YouTube
she's
people
looking
like
for the
liars.
comments?
They said, I haven't seen BC in bikini, and she claims to wear it. She needs to show us evidence on TV that she actually wears bikini, but that's aside. People are talking about the fact that winter and skirt doesn't go together. Churches abroad don't comply with some of these doctrines they practice in Nigeria. Life is different. The church mostly soft pedal, or they will lose their members. Somebody said in vigil, they will drink coffee, eat biscuits, and sleep. Somebody else was saying that, Dame, once it is a pastor or pastor's child, people have a problem. There's a lot of judgment. Nigerians are too religious, but their heart is far from God. That's according to another person. A lot of momijios in Nigeria wear satellite dish as hat on Sunday. It's not what is outside that matters, but what is inside the heart.
Well, the Queen used to wear hats. I mean, the Queen
Are
was...
they the Queen?
I'm just saying that, but where did we get our religion from? So there was something about the Queen's presence, even those around her. They wear hats and they look like Mommy Gio. So I think that's so... What is so wrong in looking like a Mommy Gio?
No, of course not. If you will not go later and change. So pick a hustle. I think the pastors' wives and mommy geos actually put themselves under pressure by themselves because they want to appear a certain way that they're not really convinced about. There are people who have been mommy geo for years. Even when they travel and come back, they have not changed their dressing. They have maintained it from beginning to the end. They travel to different countries. They don't go wear trousers abroad and where they wear their skirts to and fro because they are convinced that that is what they want to do and how they want to appear. So anybody who is taking up that position, imagine me as a pastor's wife now. If my husband answers his calling very well and he's dodging the calling, myself, I'm dodging. Imagine how I will appear. Nobody will give me that hat. They dare not. They don't burn you.
How would you look?
I won't even wear it. It's not my style. No, but it's not my style.
You wear turbans.
I will be a pastor's wife with a difference. I will look hot on Sunday.
Hey.
I will stand there.
You'll be distracted our husband.
No, I will
You'll be distracted our
I
husband.
will not. Because when I'm preaching, you will see miracles happening. You will not look at me.
In bikini.
They will not.
serious.
I will wear bikini to church now. Do I
I'm
wear
just saying,
bikini here?
come on.
There's appropriate dressing
for different places.
For different occasions.
So the church
but I will not. I will not wear a long flowing skirt. Wear cotton neck.
Nobody wants you to wear that.
That is
but
how
we don't want you wearing trousers that shows your hips either.
Exactly.
Am I supposed to keep my hips at home?
Very, very abundant.
No, wait. Am I supposed to keep my... Wait,
so she should now wear body hop.
I don't annoy me this
and say that she's covered.
Am I supposed to keep my hips
free.
at home?
No, you wear your... We don't see your hips displayed on the pulpit.
Exactly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me use Brian. Let me put that because they put you on this phone. Let me put Brian. So if you have that kind of shape, it is not, and you're a pastor's wife, you will not climb on the pulpit in a way that will now make other people to sin.
Yeah.
You will not do it.
Yeah.
So
the Bible
sometimes
says
it is self-sacrifice that they do, and it's a huge burden.
God bless
but
you.
when they now go to abroad, they are on
They
vacation.
don't sacrifice again.
They are on vacation. Vacation mode activated.
Let's go on a break. Let's go on a break. Let's go on a break. We'll deal with this matter properly.
We will deal with it when we
Stay
come
with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this pastor's wives and everything. There's a pastor's wife in my own church. Oh. Hey, you my fine. On the pulpit, lashes, makeup, hot, you know, jump, everything is bam, 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 bam. And everybody, they'll be hushing around. Imagine. Ha, in clinical, they allow her to wear it. They don't allow, you know, because the rules are strict in my church. But this one person, is in Nigeria. Not abroad, though, in Nigeria. But, you know, and I see other pastors where, I mean, when they're talking about it, I know that they also wish they could dress like that. But they feel that they can't because the doctrine, the discipline doesn't allow them to do it. So, I don't know, would you call that hypocrisy, or do you feel that they are not, that the ones not just taking the bull by the horn and saying, you know what, I want to dress this way and nothing can stop me?
Yes. Before we would share our deaconess experience, let me say that, you know, they always say this thing in marriage, what you cannot continue, don't start. So if you must know within yourself, this is what I can do and what I cannot continue. This particular woman, right from the get-go, she was like never coding. She just, this is who I am, this is how I'm going to be. But many of us have been brought up to conform. So when we get into a place, they tell us, don't do this, we just align.
Agree.
And there's a lot of deep-rooted resentment within us that we have. But I feel if you've decided this is what you're going to do, don't complain, don't feel bad. You're already there, just do it. Which is why when they travel, they feel this room to escape and express themselves, because there's a lot of pressure to being a woman of God, quote and unquote. Even me, because I just usually do things in church. One day I wore off shoulder on the show, and somebody was able to tell me that as a member of Daystar, how can you, I said, please, what is showing? My shoulder. There's no cleavage showing, nothing. My shoulder.
Yeah, but you're not. But see, the problem, what you forget, let me tell you what Nigerians are forgetting. What you forget, yes, there's nothing showing. Even when women go out, but you see, it's distracting. That's the doctrine. Wow. So as a news anchor, if I'm watching television, I'm distracted because I'm seeing your beautiful shoulders. I can't hear what you're saying anymore. Wow. Your beautiful shoulders is all I see.
So how is that supposed to be my problem? You have a problem to deal with how you see and what you see and what you choose to see.
Exactly.
How is that supposed to be my own wahala?
Okay, let me take this call from Kelechi. Good morning, Kelechi. You're live. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah. Okay, Morayo, the theme of your hot topic is super. I like it. Hypocrisy. You see, the word hypocrisy is, from my own take, is human attributes. Okay? The opposite of it is equally human attributes. It's factored into human beings to, you know, to structure, to strike a balance between human and human, to strike a kind of a balance, human construction. Now, let me move to what this said. This says something very important. He said that when he had that revelation, that she didn't, if she were to be a mommy duo, she would have quickly gone to state this in the church. And nobody should do this in the church. And I like that thing she said. See, this is what is happening in Pentecostal churches today. Before Christianity was introduced in our land, we have been having spiritual encounters in our native way. That is a good one. But when Christianity was introduced, it was all these encounters were Christianized. All
right. Thank you, Kelechi, because I didn't really hear very well. It was muffled.
I didn't get it.
Remember there was was it Deeper Life? There was a time that you're not allowed to watch TV.
Yeah.
And then evolution happened, and not so, a few years ago, Pastor Kumi said, this, you know, that was then, no, you watch TV. So in the beginning, they said, don't wear this, don't wear trousers, don't do your hair, don't do, you know. But gradually, we have somewhat evolved, and the church is being a bit more relaxed on these things.
Even before the Gio Kumuyi came out to say that, I had an uncle who was a life member, who they don't have TV in their house, but they watch everything with their laptop. So I didn't know, right from time, it was always something
that's hypocrisy.
Yes, it was always something that I frowned at, like, you don't have TV. When visitors come, they won't have TV, but your children have laptops and they watch all of those things because they gist and you will hear. And so everybody's watching, but because we are supposed to be seen a certain way, that's my problem. So there are people who, so we're not all supposed to be the same. we were not all created the same way. There are people who are pace setters. And if you belong to that category, you will be doing yourself a lot of injustice when you align with what is expected. You are supposed to pave a new way. You're supposed to create a new path for others to follow. There are people who God calls for certain reasons. Everybody has their market whose souls are attached to them. There are people you will go and preach to. They will not listen to you because they feel you don't get it. You're not from this place. You don't understand what is happening. You don't understand what I've been through because of your makeup and probably your life experiences. There are people who I will go and meet, and they will like the fact that I look that way and I can say I have Jesus and I have peace, they will follow me. So if you make all of us look a certain type of way, we will lose out some people that were called to meet, because every skill, every gift, every makeup that we have was for certain people to follow us.
So, for example, my mommy Gio, for example, had the people that she was called for. And then this other person that I was talking about also has people that she can call for.
Someone like me now, we follow that your rugged mommy Gio because she will speak
not rugged, though, she's a fine woman.
I'm just saying, she will speak my language and I will hear her.
Fancy mommy Gio.
Yes, but
let me take this call.
May not want to follow her because
they will
connect.
You're right.
Take the call.
Abosede, are you there? Thanks for calling. You're live.
Good morning. I like the topic you guys are talking about this morning. You know, I want to say something about that Pastor
Leke, yes.
Whatever. Leke. You know, there's nothing wrong with his action, making it million. But you should not use it as a yardstick to say to somebody that, okay, he has opportunity because he's a GO son. Other persons might not have such opportunity. So, no issues. You should not use that as, okay, you can do anything to make. A lot of persons can do that wristband and not make a dime because they might not have such opportunity that he has. So, that's not a yardstick to something. But I am not complaining. He can make millions. It's good. Then I want to say something about this, our appearance. So many people, like you said, they are hypocritical. I was in a church for years that you must cover your hair. I was an usher, I became an head usher, you must cover your hair. But we had a pastor's wife that said she does not believe in that. And the minute she said she does not believe, and she was in the same denomination. And during our time, we had miracles, we had testimony. And me, I was quick to it because in my own heart of heart, I didn't really like covering my hair. But I was doing it because the doctrine of the church said we should do it. The minute she said it, I stopped it. So I believe that it's hypocritical. That will not stop you from connecting to God. Sometimes it's just out of the pastors, but they just want to cage you. They want you to behave the way they are behaving. They want to model you the way they want to.
So for what she said, I'm one that believes in being resourceful, and I feel that, and that's why I said I'm not attacking what he did. Adeboye, Pastor Adeboye was being resourceful, and I think everybody has opportunities. For Daystar, people sold stickers in Daystar that are not the church or anybody, like personal, regular people just came and sold car stickers, sold key holders.
So the regular member of the RCG had taken a wristband and sold it, gradually
he would have made
the same thing.
Because people would have bought it. It's not about being the pastor's son. But back to this story about the hypocrisy of things. What some people see as hypocrisy, other people are seeing as respect. What you are calling hypocrisy, somebody is feeling like, I'm respecting the culture of where I am. I would not come into, no matter how bold and confident you are, they no born anybody to say they are going to Qatar, where I was, and they want to go and wear bikini on the streets of Qatar or wear bomb shots, because there is there's an agreement in that society.
Social construct.
That there's a social construct that says this is how we dress in Qatar. Yeah. You cover. So if you come from the east or the west of the world where you can do anything, when you come there, you conform. So sometimes we're seeing it as hypocrisy, but in actual fact, it is respect for the culture of where I am.
Nobody's disputing that, but the issue is that within that Qatar, in some areas, because when I went to Dubai, when we were all wearing our hijab, I entered the mall. In the toilets, aunties were wearing what they were wearing underneath the hijab. It's totally spicy. Yes, that the ladies were all changing their clothes, looking all hot and thinking, what's going on? So is that hypocrisy where, okay, if all of us have agreed within this society that, okay, we are Christians, we must wear this, we must wear that. But when that group now goes to a different community, they're allowed. And that's where we're saying, what is good for the one person
People
should
did
be
not
good for
agree.
the other person.
They
And
did
that's
not-
the issue.
Nobody agreed to what to wear in Christianity. Everybody chose what they want to do part time, and some people did not have a choice. They are part of the congregation or they are wives of of someone, so they just had to follow. But in other places where they feel they have a little bit of choice.
People getting angry when Mommy Joes are wearing shorts, because when I saw your pastor's wife wear shorts when she traveled, I mean, I liked it, I enjoyed it, but I just like,
Yeah,
So you say,
I was like,
did she do to
in my-
Which
I was like,
crime did she commit?
okay, I was just thinking to myself, okay, can my pastor's wife ever wear shorts?
Because pastor's wife is not a human being.
I'm just saying, listen, I would like for my pastor's wife. My pastor's wife is very tall and beautiful. She has that model look. And I can only imagine her in really...
You
but
see,
I'm just
that
thinking,
picture you saw was deliverance for so many pastors' wives. Like seeing that gave them deliverance beyond any other thing. And I'm sure she's recently been more vocal about she's mentoring other people and saying, see, live your life, because 20 years down the line, the church will be 30 years and you'll be wishing that, I wish I'd actually taken my own position more and own my own space. It is not easy being the wife of a pastor.
Let me add this.
It is a tough job.
I know Christianity hasn't given like a standard guide on what to wear and how to wear it, but everything is about modesty and everything is about being appropriate for every place that you go to. So nobody's expecting you to come and wear bikini on the altar. As crazy as I am, I will not even do that, right? But you will not give me a uniform to come and stand on the altar. I remember when I was singing, Redeem, one of the Redeem churches invited me to come and minister. And the person who brought the contact to me said, don't wear trousers. Don't wear trousers. You have to wear long gown. And I was quarreling with him because I said, I'm a rapper. I'm not coming to sing a worship song. He said, no, don't even rap. He said, don't even rap. Come and sing worship song. That is what we want. Yes. So
They change your
for that ministration, I didn't feel it because that wasn't what I wanted to do. But I did the ministration. And before I left the altar, I shall rap my rap. Guess what happened? The rap got me more recognition, more standing applause than even the singing that I did. But I felt not so good because I wasn't allowed to express. Of course, I'm not going there to go and be naked. I'm a married woman and I respect myself. But the fact that I was put in a box, and that is why a lot of people get sad, really, when they are not allowed to express. So my advice now is nobody is stopping you from expressing.
Do you?
If you want to express, express. But use it your full chest, be modest about it, and bear the consequences if there's any consequences.
My daughter, every Sunday we're trying to go to church. She always wants to look for something very, very interesting to wear. We're always asking, Elizabeth, are you done? Are you done? She's always looking for something interesting to wear, and I just get upset with her. Different. But then in church, they now said she was going to be preaching on the Sunday. The girl prepares since Friday, reading the Bible, you know. Just want me to see my daughter on Sunday to come to my room.
Wearing a gown.
Hey,
what did she wear?
Girlfriend wore a gown, head, scarf, everything. No earring.
brand.
She just switched. I'm like, hey, what happened to you? She was like a proper mommy Gio. Even when our pastor, our teacher in class, I think, what happened? Instead of calling her pastor, but she immediately looked the part. She understood the brief. She understood the brief. So it's the same thing that I mean. I think what is in Christendom is that when you are ministering, there's a certain way you expect to look because you don't want people to be distracted.
Pay attention to what you're saying.
Pay attention to the word. Sometimes we feel that because there was RCCG ministration I was watching over the weekend. It's a different church. It's like a major auditorium in the UK. And there was a beautiful woman, dark skin, tall, had her weave on, and she was ministering, and I was loving her voice. But she looked really good. I kept looking at her dress. That is how much did that dress cost?
Because you don't know.
Because I
don't
love
have
the
your
dress.
focus.
Mariah,
it's your problem. You don't have the focus.
I was enjoying the music, but I was checking out that beautiful dress.
Yes.
I was looking at her shoes. I'm like, I wonder how expensive this shoes would be. Because
you see your problem. That's not what you're supposed to be thinking of.
But the song, it is in my face.
No,
it's in my face.
No.
What do you know?
We need to teach people what to focus on.
Yeah.
Put your focus in the right things. You are blaming somebody because you cannot keep your focus. How is that supposed to be her business?
It's not her business.
But when you're ministering, it helps.
See, excuse me, son, you should
there are some things like this.
So you're supposed to look
Their
a
shape
certain
is like
way.
this.
Hold on, talk back, please. You're supposed to look a certain way so that your ministration will not distract other people.
Yes.
Really?
Yes,
But when you
yes.
go abroad, don't you still listen to that same ministration? How many distractions do you get?
They
Even with all the
Yes,
PS,
exactly.
listen, no, all all the piercings that they have, all those rock singers that play the instrument and all that. How distracted
I get distracted when I see those tattoos.
I get
feel that. People in a box.
No. I mean, it's not a box thing.
The box,
honestly, I would say that because the church isn't just for Christians. The church is for everybody. There are people that they come into the church and it's not. There are shapes that you cannot hide. But you wear dresses that will compel people not to focus on what you have on the outside or be distracted by it, but focus on what you are saying. So I'm all for freedom. I'm all for liberty, being free, but I'm also all for responsibility. And with every assignment, there are responsibilities. When you are called to that position, there are responsibilities. That's why I raised the issue of Pastor Leke, that Pastor Leke, when you're son of somebody at that level, there's a responsibility. It will be sacrificial because you see opportunity and be like, I cannot take it. Same with when you're being a wife of a pastor. There are
I don't agree with that one.
responsibilities that would feel like a restriction.
On your focus. Stop there.
And within that space,
run.
express yourself. But you
Focus
must
on your
understand that the
focus.
responsibility that comes to the role
When
you
you
are
get
occupying.
to church, look at the Holy Spirit. Stop looking at what
Holy Spirit
somebody
is on. There's no form for the Holy Spirit.
Don't mind
no form.
this
Human being.
thing. Come and
when
be
you're
showing
singing,
figure
the
eight.
only
Be showing figure eight.
That's why I
on
cannot do
the-
that kind of thing,
Anyway,
because when I
on
enter
That
there,
is
you'll be
all.
talking to
It's Monday, oh. You guys, you cannot
People
talk
will
about
not
Monday
pray.
morning. Please, calm down. You have to run.
Public holiday Monday. Enjoy the
That is
rest of it.
all we can take for today's show. We've learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Peace out.